I want to encourage people to cook. So if I use myself with the limits that I have, I'd be my own weakest link. Somebody would watch it, and hopefully the response was supposed to be, that looks good, and I bet you I can make that.
All right, I am so freaking pumped. Notice how I said freaking after you just asked me if you could swear. I'm so freaking pumped for today because I've known my guests for, I moved to San Diego in 2004, and it feels like a blink. And although my identity in my silly, deranged brain is still East Coast, I've been here a long time. Sam, when I think of you, like, you're one of the first personalities that I ran into, like just stumbling through the television, and ran into Sam the Cooking Guy and loved your stuff way back when.
Thanks. Right. Wait a second. When we first met, you were in that office down in the gas lamp.
You got it.
What and how? When was that?
A long time ago.
That will give us an idea of how long we know each other.
Well, to me, I think you're right. To be fair, it's a two-way street. So that was probably 2013. But I mean, I remember running into your stuff way before we were introduced.
Well, I will celebrate 20 years next month, May, of being Sam the Cooking Guy. So I don't really know how that happened, how it became that long, but I'm glad it did, because I like what I do. I was effing miserable before.
We'll get there. I want to figure out, I almost think it's unfair. I mean, what I love about this is, you're bigger than San Diego now, but I'm almost surprised that you're not bigger, and that's not a knock. I genuinely love the way you do what you do.
Well, Well, look, we could have a conversation about what bigger would look like. I think to a lot of people, as I ran into a guy in the supermarket about a month ago, and he said, "Sam the Cooking Guy." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Huge fan. I don't see your stuff on TV anymore." I go, "Oh, we've not been on TV for about 6 years." He went, "Oh," I said, "it's all YouTube now." And he went, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I don't know if he meant, "I'm sorry you're not on TV," or "I'm sorry you're on YouTube." And I didn't ask, but I'll tell you this, Ryan. We hit, we're coming up on 3.5 million subscribers on
Amazing.
Our channel. My 6th cookbook will come out in 2024. My 5th cookbook, Sam the Cooking Guy Between the Buns, will come out in May. And we did a trip to Southeast Asia a couple years ago, and Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and then Japan. And I was recognized more in Japan than on a regular day here in San Diego, but also in Thailand. Sitting in a restaurant in Bangkok the first night, and the guy comes down the stairs of the restaurant, and he stops and he goes, "Sam the Cooking Guy." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "What are you doing here?" I go, "I'm eating." "What are you doing here?" He goes, "No, Bangkok." I go, "Well, we're doing a trip and blah, blah, blah. But Cambodia, Cam freaking Bodia, Sam the Cooking Guy, Tokyo." I mean, it's nuts. So, yeah. So bigger, I think, to many people would imply television. And I'll tell you, the best thing we ever did was get off television. I don't have a Taskmaster anymore, really. And I did before. "You can't say this. We don't want you to shoot that." Covered that up. The camera was on the Apple about 1.5 seconds too long. That kind of thing. So I don't miss that. I am not sorry for any part of YouTube. It has given us a very, just a great way to communicate with people. It's lots of fun. We get to do really cool shit. Yeah. So
curious.
That's me. Yeah. Go ahead.
So there's so many questions. We only have an hour. So who was Sam the cooking guy before Sam the cooking guy? Tell me about that guy. Where's he from?
Sam the cooking
What's
guy.
he like?
Sam the cooking guy, a Jewish boy from Vancouver, Canada. Grew up never knowing what he really wanted. There was no compass. I didn't grow up with the desire to be a plumber or a doctor, a teacher, an accountant, none of that. And as a result of that, I kind of followed one of my brother's early path. He took a marketing and sales program at a 2-year college, and so did I. He went into the advertising business, and so did I. He moved to Toronto, so did I. And that's kind of where it ended. Because it wasn't really for me. I thought I wanted to be in the movies, not in front of the camera, but behind. So I quit the agency work, got myself a job as a production assistant.
What city?
For a movie film company in Toronto. Toronto's a big ass bustling city. I say it's the New York of Canada in size and feel and amount of commerce and entertainment and stuff. But I didn't really even like that. And one of his clients was a place called Penguin's Frozen Yogurt that is clearly no longer here anymore. But he said, man, we should think about buying a franchise. The franchisees are doing great. So I was like, fuck it, yes. Let's do it. Because I didn't, the advertising wasn't satisfying me. Nothing else I knew what to do. This seemed like something that would be different. Maybe I'd like it. So we bought the franchise rights to Phoenix, opened a store, and it was fun. We were, I was, how old was I? I was 30, I guess. And Kelly was 26. We were living a fun, young life. It was great. No responsibilities other than the business. And then we started to see that it wasn't going to be so great. Sold the business, and then moved to San Diego. Got my real estate license here because that's what you do when you don't know what else to do. You go into real estate,
especially in San Diego.
So especially San Diego. I wish I was back in it right now. The way prices are, but 5 years into that, I hated it. And one of my clients started a biotech company, made me an offer to be the facilities manager. I went there. I was there 2 years. I became the director of operations. And then in year 6, I started hating it again. It took me two and a half years to get out, year and a half to get out. And I got out because I had an idea about starting a travel show. I'm trying to condense.
I know. And I could tell you that Sam, the operations guy, doesn't ring off the tongue like Sam, the cooking guy.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't. But I had an idea about starting a travel show. And I was so sure that I could be successful at it, even though I had no travel or television experience. I quit the biotech job. I quit a real paycheck. I quit stock options. I quit insurance and benefits and stuff like that. And I pulled together a crew of 2 people. We were going to go to Tokyo and Hong Kong and shoot demo footage and try and put something together. And the concept was how to go to a place you think's complicated and still have a great time. Based on a trip I'd taken to Tokyo with my brother-in-law when I was 40. He went for business and I went for like my 40th birthday present to myself. Came back, loved it, and told my friends how great it was. And a lot of people were like, I don't know if I could go there. So this was 20 years ago, right? And maybe travel now is, way more popular. Maybe people are okay doing stuff like that. But it was like, don't go to North Dakota again this summer, go someplace you haven't been, test yourself a little bit. So a month before we were supposed to go to Tokyo and Hong Kong to shoot demo footage, 9/11 happened. And of course that, changed a lot of things much more significantly than it did for me. But in the days following 9/11, nobody was buying a travel show, especially from a guy that had never traveled and had never been on TV. So I sat at home, tried to figure out what I was going to do. My wife, Kelly, that said to me, we should go to work. And she go, what are you going to do, sweetheart? And I said, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. And I came across what I still say is maybe the worst cooking segment I've ever seen on KUSI one morning. It was a proper restaurant chef making, this is September, so he was making butternut squash soup. and his recipe was complicated, and he was using complicated words, and the anchors were dopey, and they didn't know how to pronounce the ingredients and shit. And I probably out loud, I went, Jesus, somebody should do that better. And that was that light bulb moment. And I went, I should do that better. Kelly came home. I told her, she goes, it's a great idea. Just one thing. I go, what? She goes, you can't really cook. I go, but you see, that's the genius part. I'm going to make easy shit. So people won't be moved when they see it just to go out to that guy's restaurant. Like, I wanted to encourage people to go to Tokyo and Hong Kong. I want to encourage people to cook. So if I use myself as with the limits that I have, I'd be my own weakest link. Somebody would watch it, and hopefully the response was supposed to be, that looks good. And I bet you I can make that. I'm going to try it. If that fool can make it, I'm sure I can make it.
Sam, what do you think that was?
That was it.
Sam,
I know when that was. That was May. Well, I was on TV. I got Fox. It was no longer a Fox station anymore, but Fox 6 then, 20 years ago in San Diego, put me on twice a week. They'd come to my house. I made a demo tape and I sent it out. And they called one day and they said, we like your style. It wasn't a half-hour show. They were interstitials. They were 90-second cooking segments. Of course, lots of editing, but you don't need to see, if I say cut an onion, you don't need to see start to finish of cutting an onion, because that could be 2 minutes. So they'd come over, we'd shoot 3 or 4, they'd go back, they'd edit them down. I'd go and look at them. I go, could you fix this? Could you fix that? You missed me doing that thing. And they'd air them twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. And I won 2 Emmys within a year of, in the first Emmy season of those coming out, we won 2 Emmys. I think because I was different, because I wasn't a chef, because I didn't wear white clothing, because I didn't have perfect technique, because I didn't say chiffonade. I'd say just kind of roll up your basil like a joint and then cut it like this. And then that's how you get whatever, you know?
And were you like, did you come up with Sam the Cooking Guy, or were they like, we got to call it something? Let's call it.
I came up with the Cooking Guy. In fact, that was the first thing, the first website I had, thecookingguy.com. And very shortly after I started this, people would see me in a store or something and go, hey, Sam the Cooking Guy. And one day I was like, yeah, that's probably the way to do it. So I went online, and of course, Sam the Cooking Guy was available. And I didn't have my credit card or something, and went back 2 days later to buy the URL Sam the Cooking Guy. Some fucker had taken it. Ryan, I felt
violated?
Like somebody kicked me. I was going to say violated, but the term has such a definitive meaning towards a whole nother area that I wouldn't want to use it for that. I felt like somebody kicked me in the nuts, really. I was beside myself. I didn't know what to do. But I did know that I applied for the trademark, Sam the Cooking Guy. I actually applied for the trademark, the Cooking Guy, and the patent office said, no, it's too general. And I wrote back and I said, but there's a history guy and there's a garage door guy. They go, well, they got a different examiner. I'm saying it's too general and you can't have it. So I go, fine. Will you accept Sam the Cooking Guy? They go, yes. That defines it. I go, great.
And that was it.
So I knew that was in the works. And the day that I got that piece of paper from the trademark and patent office saying, you are now officially Sam the Cooking Guy, I took a picture of that. I scanned it and I sent it to the person that had samthecookingguy.com. And I said, like that scene at the end of what's the Santa Claus movie? There's
like 1,000 of them, Sam. Bad
Miracle
Santa?
on 34th Street.
Oh,
no, Miracle
one.
on 34th Street. When Santa's being sued for not being real Santa, and his lawyers bring in bags of mail and dump it on the judge's desk and say, if the United States government recognizes this man as Santa Claus, because they just delivered the mail, then we should too. Case closed. He was now Santa Claus. I said to this guy, if the United States government recognizes me as Sam the Cooking Guy, I want my URL back. And the guy said, no problem. Where do I send the information? Didn't even ask for a cent. So I think it was a fan. No idea who it was. I think it was a fan. Anyway, I got it. So I'm
Well, I want to apologize. I held the name a lot longer than I should have. So, by the way, I got to tell you, I don't miss advertising. You know, I made all my mentors were Mad Men, but like I love what it taught me. And I imagine you probably feel the same way, like the importance of telling a succinct story or, you know, and so Sam the Cookie Guy is great. It's like super clean. My question to you is, how many times, like if there was like a pie chart and you had to put a percentage on when you said, you know what, I'll figure it out versus I can do that, which feel very, what's the percentages of like, I can figure it out versus, no, you know what, I can do that.
You mean in the very beginning, which skewed more heavily? Honestly, it was, I can do that. And that was just filled with an enormous amount of naivete. It really was. You hear people say it all the time. I've said it before. If I knew how difficult it was to get into this business, I might not have done it. But I think that's one of the things that saved my ass. Because I thought, here's the thing. I saw people on TV doing stuff. And I said, I could be at least as good as the shitty ones and potentially better than a bunch of them. So if they can do it, why can't I? It's that thing you don't know. You don't know what you don't know till you start. But once you start to see that it's not necessarily rocket science. I mean, I don't know what the rocket scientists say, but there's a lot of things that you freak out about. And then your first day of looking at it, you're like, oh, fuck, everybody puts on their pants one leg at a time, unless they're a fireman. They're regular people. I can do this. There's certain skill. I'm not a chemist. I couldn't do that. But the facilities and the operations part, I had enough information. I didn't think I could. And the guy that hired me had more faith in me than I did. And that pushed me into it. And I said, this is great. I can do this. If he believes in me and it's his company and he's paying the checks, I can believe in me and do it. So I got to that. I can do that.
Well, and Kelly believes in you, and it sounds like you guys have lived quite an adventure. And the more my sense that you do it, the more the muscle builds and the stronger you get at staying curious. I mean, would you, if you were going to use 3 words to describe yourself, what do you go for it? Let's hear them.
Oh God.
Sorry, man.
You could have given me this question earlier. I could have come up with something. Okay.
Well, it's good for the audience to know that, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
It's a real conversation.
Okay. So, persistent. I think I'm relatively persistent. I believe I can do things. I mean, we just talked about that, but yes, maybe persistence is part of that. And I'm fun, and I want there to be fun in what I do and who I do it with. You know, I shot a bunch of TV for a few years, and the county of San Diego ended up coming along and saying, hey, do you want to do a half-hour show? So it went from the little short, the 90-second things to 30 minutes or 20, whatever, 26 and a half. And they shared it with their other county stations in other states. And New York was one of them. I was on Channel 1 in New York for a while. And I was going to New York for some reason, and I told them, and they said, hey, the station there would love you to do some promos, you know? Hey, Sam the Cooking Guy, you can watch me right here on New York channel, whatever, right? So I go, fabulous. So how fun, the Big Apple. These are people will be way more professional, of course, than I used to have been working with. And I got there, we had to meet on the street corner. So I get there, I'm like a little puppy. My tail's wagging, I'm all happy, my eyes are bright. And these 3 people obviously hated their jobs, hated each other, had an accident on the way to the meetup spot. But that, 2.5 hours of shooting was the most fucking depressing 2.5 hours I'd ever shot. And I walked away from that going, if this was the crew, I would not have gotten as far, not have made as much TV as I would have, because I couldn't do it. I can't work like this. And if we were asked to do a sponsored relationship with a big sauce company, and it was a great opportunity. So we get on the phone. It's the first meeting. It's their agency, me, my manager, and the client. And we have a great conversation. And then there's a follow-up conversation the next day with just the agency people. And I hang up from that second conversation. I call my manager back and I go, so I'm just going to say this out loud because I feel like it's going to happen. I don't think this is going to be a very fun relationship. I know the money's great. But I'm telling you right now, if the way they just sounded is indicative of how this is going to go, I'm going to want out. So whatever we do, we need to make sure that I have a way out. He goes, okay, I know what you're talking about, but he's a manager. So he's that guy in the middle, right? I can't tell you the number of times I've gone to him and said, I fucking hate them. And he's calmed me down. He's looked, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. It's going to be fine. So he did a little bit of that. I know where you're coming from, but I'm sure it's not going to be like that. A month later, I pulled the plug on it. I said, we did like a test thing for them. I said, be my guest. Keep it. Use it. I don't care. I don't want money for it. I will not take another cent. This would be the most problematic, egregious slave relationship I've ever been in. So F you. Well, I didn't say F you. But
how long ago was this?
This was a year ago.
Okay, got it. Yeah, look.
So recent time. Look, would I have said that in year one of being Sam the Cooking Guy? Probably not. But look, as you get older, you learn, of course, what you like, but you also know what you don't like. And it's not that I think I'm dying anytime soon, but I work pretty hard and I play pretty hard. I don't spend enough time with the people that I love and really care about. So spending time casual-wise with people that I don't particularly like or are not close to is not going to happen. And in business, I don't want to spend time with those people. So I'm not.
Yeah, no, I mean, makes total sense to me. I mean, I look, first of all, the world needs more fun. Period, yeah. Full stop. And, yeah. I'm kind of a broken record on there's three types of people in the world, and it's kind of different from everyone looking at those people. One, there's people that you gain energy from, and how fast can I be in a room with them? Yeah. Two, there's people that drain your energy, and how fast can you get out of those relationships? And three, okay, there's people that the energy is maintained, and I don't think that's a great place to be either, frankly. That's like your distant second cousin that you can't separate from because they're family. Yeah. But I feel like you definitely resonate with me because the playfulness is there. The joy is there. You can see it in your work. And I love that. I was having a conversation one day with a Marine that had been over in Afghanistan, had done some crucial heavy duty fighting. And I said, I want to thank you for that. I don't think that I could go to war. I don't think I could. Thank God I'm old enough that I don't think I'd ever have to worry about it. But thank you for that. I go, you do things like that. You're out there saving other people's lives. And I'm just doing stupid shit like making, 200 egg omelets on TV. He said, you need to remember something. He said, what you do is definitely needed. He goes, we watched your stuff over there. And what you did for us, you don't think is important. I'm telling you it's important. The world needs, his point was the world needs everything and everybody that's in it, right? This country is we're caught up with the economic class and the caste system and who's got money and who doesn't, and you see how people treat the people that have a lesser job than they have in their minds, right? Here's the thing:
Everything's important. Every little job is important. The person that drives our kids to school in the bus in the morning, that is no less important than the dentist. In fact, it might be more important than a dentist. We can't live without our little kids. We can maybe live without a couple teeth in our mouth, figure out, a way around it. But everybody's job is important. I had a conversation with somebody the other day about Japan. I love the country. I love the people. I've been fortunate to shoot there a few times. We're looking, Kelly and I are trying to figure out a good time to go back. We just love it. The thing about that country is no matter what the job is, there is a pride of ownership in the job. I mean, I watched a guy direct the traffic in and out of a garage off of a busy street one day while I was waiting for Kelly to come out of the store. And he did that job with such beautiful skill and care. Like here, no, I'm not saying this about everybody, but, people would be like, what do you do? I just fucking bring people in and out of the garage and they give a shit and I look at my phone half the time. It's that kind of thing. The guy really gave a shit. Everything they do, there's a pride of ownership in what the jobs are. We should all have that. I don't know how I just got serious for a second because we were talking about fun, I think, but yeah.
That's okay. Hey, by the way, I'm going to do the thing I shouldn't do, but because you said, I wish you would have given me some prep, I'm going to give you the question before the question I'm going to ask for later.
Okay.
Okay. So I want, if when you audit your life, this is not the question for now, it's for later.
Yeah.
What are the 3 takeaways that you want the audience to take away for their lives? 3 things you've learned from doing you. We'll come back to that, but that way you can let the hamster spin.
Yeah. Got it.
All right. So let me ask you this. You have how many kids?
3 boys.
Ages?
28 to 33.
So when you start, and I'm kind of putting my own shit in this too, so I'm guilty, and you tell me if I'm off.
Yeah.
When I started down this courageous path, I was curious and I didn't know where this was going to take me. In fact, when I was writing the book, my first book, Return on Courage, I'll be the first one to admit it was like this devious business card. It was a devious attempt to position my company. And then somewhere throughout the experience, I stumbled into, oh shit, I wrote the book because I need the book, followed by my kids are watching everything I do. Then third on the podium was, I'm sure this will be good for my business. But the motives... The motives change. So when you start this thing to now your kids are watching you and seeing what's possible, how did they factor into all of this? In your mind, did they factor? Did they not factor?
They factored in the sense that I suddenly was making no dollars and I needed to figure my shit out fairly quick. I went a year and didn't make a cent. When I got that first gig at Channel 6, then they didn't offer money. I didn't ask for money because I knew I needed them more than they needed me. And I was scared. I was not confident in myself. They were saying, all right, we're going to put you on TV twice a week. We're going to shoot it. We're going to edit it. All you have to do is cook and be the charming, funny guy that you are. We take care of everything else. They could have said to me all of that and then said, and you only have to give us $500 each time those segments air for us to do all the work. Ryan would have said, you got it. So I had to make money, but they were watching. And the interesting thing about little kids, unless they're really little, is they soak up an awful lot. Little kids don't come out of the womb hating the other colors of kids. Little Chinese kid doesn't come out hating the white kid. White kid doesn't come out hating a black kid. They soak that shit in from the dining room table. When the father says, you know what that MF, racist insult word did at my work today? He doesn't have to look at the little kid and say, I want to tell you why you're going to not like these people when you get older. He just can casually say that stuff on the phone to his buddy, out back barbecuing on his grill on a Sunday afternoon with the kegs beside him and his beer in his hand. They soak it in. So I know they're watching. I know they're getting some of it. So they were enthralled with the fact that dad was on TV. I could have been doing anything on TV. I think they were surprised when it first happened, but they're little kids, and your parents are your heroes then. It changes. I mean, I hope I still am, but it changes. But they're like, Dad said he's going to be on TV. My dad's going to be on TV. It's that simple for them. But then when they're watching, you gotta do the right thing.
Do you think Do you think it raises the ceiling for them for what's possible when they see that from you?
I think it does. I think the expectations to do something that you really like, for sure they've gotten that from me, because they knew I found what I do now because of a hatred of everything else. I was not prepared to stay in an industry, in a business that I didn't like. Because it was, 24 hours in a day. Roughly, we work 8. Roughly, we sleep 8. Roughly, we're awake 8. To and fro, coming and going, watching TV, reading, whatever, exercise. So the idea that 30% of my life was going to suck for me, and the other 66% was great, even though the scales were like this, I needed to even them out somehow. So I think, yes, they have this thing inside them that tells them that they want to be happy. My oldest son, Max, that shoots and edits along with another employee that we have, all of our YouTube stuff, and makes, I told him yesterday, I said, Max, I've said this before, I'm going to tell you again. You make my stuff look better than any television I've done before. I had a series on Discovery Health. This looks better. I had all kinds of people shoot my stuff when they were little things. This looks better. The work is so good. Max had been accepted to law school. And the summer before he was supposed to go to law school, he came one day and he said, I don't think I can do it. He'd been working at a law firm, what's that called?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
When you work at a law firm.
You work at a law firm. Apprenticing, something like that. And I go, why? He goes, I don't think I can do this office thing. I don't think it's me. I go, what is you? He goes, I'd like to be in your business. I go, we don't need another Sam the Cooking Guy. He goes, no, but I think you should be on YouTube. Max created our YouTube presence. Max came and said, I think you should be on YouTube. I want to do it. And I started to say, and probably did a little bit, but you don't know anything about camera, shooting, editing, TV, video, any of these things. But I knew the answer would have gotten back. The answer was, well, what did you know about cooking and television when you started?
And we're kind of right back to
he was chasing happiness. I knew he had paid attention. I knew he had listened. And who was I to say, no, you can't do that. Go to law school then. I mean, come on.
Well, first of all,
he would have been miserable.
Chasing Happiness is a good book title. You should have him write that.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Second, I mean, the irony, right, is he probably looked at it and went, I can do that. I can figure this out. No different. It's genetic, maybe. It's definitely mirrors, right? Like he's seen you do it, and his heart couldn't do. Look, I get it. My brother's a lawyer, and I don't think he loves it. Like he does it,
but not to say. Look, I have a good friend of mine who's an attorney. I think it's all he ever wanted to do. He loves what he does. He's got great days. He's got terrible days. But he loves what he does. He can't think of doing anything else. And I've always said, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you like it. That's all that matters. Because the reality is, my friend, on your last day on this planet, what are you going to remember? I think you're going to remember the shit that's in your heart. You're not going to remember the boat that you bought. You're not going to remember the 2 penthouses, the fancy cars, the clubs, all bullshit. You're not. You're going to remember your family, what's in your heart. And that you got to work on. That doesn't necessarily just happen.
So I'm kind of replaying your moment when you're like, oh, I would have paid you to be on TV. I would have given you $500, and maybe I want to give this a little bit more gas, I guess. I remember when I left agency world and I did not compete, and I remember getting a call from someone, and it was like a sheepish call for me to go speak it was called Camp Powerment. And they were like, listen, they were almost embarrassed. They were like, we feel terrible. We only have we have $500 to offer you to come speak. Snapchat's going to be there. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I would have paid you $1,000. I would have paid you $500 to come speak to Snapchat and have the opportunity. That was my moment. Like, that was my moment for me where it's like, oh my gosh, I actually, everything I've ever hoped for, I've been working towards, even though it's not figured out, I finally have my moment. And I guess, do you think like that moment for you, like all that hard work when they're finally like, we're putting you on the air, was that your courage? Is that the currency we're talking about? Or was it something before? Or is it all the above?
It was something, I think it was something before. So we made a demo. I mean, I knew I wasn't Ben Affleck. I couldn't walk into a TV station and go, hey guys, here's my idea. What do you think? I was unproven, right? I came with no street cred, nothing. So I knew I had to create a demo to put in their hand to give them an idea of what I was thinking, because I had this idea of these short segments. I had the idea that they'd be edited kind of cool. I mean, I hesitate to say MTV style because it wasn't quite that, but it was closer to that. It wasn't a stationary lockdown camera. Like, I knew what I wanted. I had a vision. I think that moment you're talking about for me was when that demo was complete and I saw it and I could send it out. That was the thing that I went, fuck yeah, this is real now. This shit's really, this is going to happen. At that point, then nothing could have stopped me, I believe. I didn't, except the pending
all the no's.
rejection, all the no's. And that part you gotta really figure, you gotta be prepared for that. But as I say, you only need one yes.
How big was like Kelly and all that? Like, I mean, you're getting no's. Like, you believe? Did she always believe? Did that help? Was she like crazy?
No. So here's the thing. Kelly, when I came home and I said, I'm going to quit the biotech company, I want to start a travel show, she went, I think that's a great idea. You should do that. I since came to find out she did not think it was a great idea, but she knew that I was really miserable. So in her mind, I quit the biotech company. I flounder around trying to get on TV with my travel show idea for 3 or 4 months. I finally come to my senses that it's not going to happen. And then I'm forced to find something, right? Because then I don't have a comfortable job. I'm not making any money. Now I got to find something. I got to buckle down and find something. And she imagined that would get me to that point. Go ahead. You go do your little TV show thing. I know what's going to happen. You'll get a real job out of this. So she was a supporter,
but not a believer.
To an end in her mind. Yeah, but not a believer. But then...
But I like that she didn't like come out and tell you, like, Sam, what are you doing?
No.
That's cool that she...
Oh, no. I had other people do that. Trust me, I had my two brothers conference called me from the 2 cities they lived in. They'd never conference called me before. Said, hey, so mom told us this, your news. I go, yeah. And they go, so one question. I go, yeah, what? They go, what are you going to do when it doesn't work? Not if, not what, it's a tough biz. Have you thought that through? What are you going to do when it doesn't work? And I was gutted. And a friend of mine gave me advice. She said, just stop talking to people. You know what you need to do. Put your head down. There will always be doubters. Always. You're never going to make everybody happy. So what do? I put my head down. I did my work, and it took a while. I eventually started making money. That second year, I made $16,000. So I averaged $8,000 a year for my first 2 years. And then it steadily crept, and no looking back.
SamTheBiotechGuy.com I just bought. Just so if you want to, if you're interested in picking that up, I'll sell it to you for
so funny.
$16,000.
It's so funny. It's a very different mindset. It's a very serious world. I was responsible for health and safety, the fire regulations, the chemicals that we have there. I was ordering, I was in charge of all this stuff. People see me now and they only know me for what I do as Sam, the cooking guy. And then at some point they'll say, what did you do before this? I go, oh, I was the director of operation for a biotech company. And you can see them, they go, what? You?
Totally.
And I don't take it as an insult because it is, there's no, I mean, barely a shadow is left of my former self.
That's winning.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, so would you give the advice to other people? I mean, I think it was burn the bridge, right? Like you burned the bridge completely. And that's really hard for people.
About that company?
Yeah, you burned the bridge. You had to figure it out. You did.
Well, I laughed. I mean, to me, burning the bridge is yelling "fuck you" and giving fingers on the way out the door. So I didn't do that. But no, they were not taking me back. I mean, I suppose if everything failed, I might have gotten a job at another biotech company.
Did you ever tell yourself that? Were you ever like, look, if this doesn't work out, worst case scenario, I'll blank. I'll go back to whatever.
Honestly, Ryan, I had no plan B at that moment. And I don't espouse that theory anymore. I've had people, so whenever I end up doing some events, this question comes up, would you used to do? And then this story comes up. And people are always fascinated in it because I think so many people don't like what they do. They want to know there's a way that they can go to sleep with a smile, right? I had a teacher come up at the end of one of these things one day and say, this is very inspiring. I'm thinking of quitting and doing something else. And I go, what's something else? And they go, she said, I want to be an actor. And I said, so just like a cold jump into a lake or a lake jump into a cold lake, just like cold turkey, you're going to go for it. She goes, I think if I don't, I might not. I just might not. Then when the lake is really cold, you better just jump in and get it over with. If you go in an inch at a time, the water gets to your junk and then it's too cold and you don't want to do it and you back up. So that was her thinking. And I said, okay, so I know I told you that's what I did, but I now have the benefit of being older, wiser, and some years of experience. So let me run something past you. She goes, what? I go, what if you're a shitty actor? She goes, well, I don't think I am. And I go, great. Doesn't matter what you think. I am being nice. It matters what they think. I love the confidence, and that's important. And she goes, okay. I go, so what's stopping you from going to like a theater program, a junior theater? Coronado's got the whatever it's called over there. You go and you do theater on weekends and at nights. Because here's what I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. You're going to find out quickly, A, if you're good, and B, if you like the business. Because just because you like to act doesn't necessarily mean you're going to like the business. It kind of, could be two parts to it. You might want to be on the stage. You might not. You might want to be in films. But if you're not good at it, then you have not thrown everything away. I mean, could you go back? Yes, but I do think it's difficult to get teaching positions and stuff, right? So maybe you try that. But maybe you also get in there and you realize, maybe it's not acting for me. Maybe I want to be a stage manager. Well, maybe I want to be a lighting. I go, at least you have the benefit of taking a little bit of time. And I don't know how she ever turned out, but
I think her name was like Julia Robert.
You have to be, I said, the worst comes to worst. You doing community theater, whatever the Lamb's Players, I think is what the theater's called over there.
Yep.
I think the worst comes to worst. You now fill a part of you that is a void. You need acting in your life. You want to be around it. You want to feel it. You want to see it. You want the lights to go down, the audience to get quiet. Maybe weekends and nights is going to be enough. If you think your job is not important, think again, you're a teacher. You're one of the most important people in kids' lives. But you got to make yourself happy. Maybe it doesn't have to be a full-time thing. I'm just telling you, think through options before you leave. Don't look at me and go, well, if it worked for him,
Well, I'm curious to hear if this ends up in your takeaways. But first, where can people find you?
Well, thecookingguy.com and samthecookingguy.com. One will lead you to the other. Our YouTube channel is Sam the Cooking Guy. And everything's on, social media, the normal stuff. YouTube.
Well, what's cool is like you're selling knives. You got the new book coming out, like you mentioned. What else are you selling?
We have becoming a full set of knives. We've sold more knives than I ever imagined that we would sell within even a few months of them coming out a year and a half ago. We have cast iron, Sam the Cooking Guy, 12-inch cast iron pan. It's fabulous. And whether you have mine or not, you should own a cast iron pan in your collection. Books. You know what I like? I like that every day is different for me. I'm working on, a book. Now I have to start the next book. It'll be a grilling book. This one comes out, finished it. Everything's different. We just shot a YouTube video for the beef board, the beef it's what's for dinner people. That was so fun. So fun. I get to work with fun things. It's cool.
All right. So let's close them out. Let's close them out here. So do you have your 3 takeaways?
3 takeaways. Here's what I want people to know about me. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. That's he made people smile.
Good
I
one.
like that. I think that's important to me. I love being in front of an audience more than I like being in front of a camera because there's reactions, and I love the reactions. I love to answer questions. I love to talk to people. I love the discourse. I love the back and forth. So there's that.
So one is make people smile. What else?
Make people smile for me. He loved his dogs. I love dogs. I love dogs more than I love most people. I really do.
Is that a loyalty thing or what is it?
I send way too many pictures of cute dogs I see to my wife and kids and stuff. But I think the most important thing is I give a shit about other people. And it may sound like a flip kind of comment and stuff, but I do think we need a lot more of this. I feel like we don't think about other people, Like it's silly things like throwing trash on the ground. I can't do that. That kills me. I don't like that. I hold doors for older people when I see them and they're 40 steps away. I do that. I don't think we take care of our older people enough. And then they're gone.
I think this is like your Canadian genetic makeup. That's kinder.
It could be kinder, gentler. Yeah, I think we should all be, Do
you think that's learned over time? Like, I wonder on that one if I think so many people are in their own version of Maslow, and it's like you're just afraid and you're trying to get through your stuff. Like you said, like when you were Sam the biotech guy, right? And like maybe you weren't totally happy and it took a long time to get to happy, chasing happiness. We're back to that. And then finally the world slows down when you're designing a life and you're doing the thing that at least makes you happier on your path to happiness. And then all of a sudden it's less Maslow and you could be a little bit more mindful and thoughtful. Yeah. I see a lot of people that it's that. Like I'm with you. Like I find that I'm very curious about like how did you become you or how do people become them? And and when you do that, then there's empathy.
And it's that thing I started saying in the beginning that nobody is better than anybody else. Money doesn't make you better. Toys don't make you better. There was a movie, can't remember the name of the movie. It was about the Second World War, Nazi concentration camps. A French actor that I think was a mime won for like best supporting actor in it. And there's a scene from this movie. I should get the name when I tell the story. That they line up a group of men that I guess they're about to go to the gas chamber, and you got to know the personalities and big, small, young, old, rich, super rich, poor, We made them all take their clothes off. It's at that moment that you look and you go, man, we literally are all the same. We may look a little different, but when you take all the shit off, we are the same. And because some asshole across the street has way more money than I do, or everybody, doesn't give him the right to treat somebody that doesn't have money like him like shit. And that's the thing that bothers me. When I see people treat service people, restaurant people, cleaning staff people, airline staff, treat them like shit because they're better. They think they're better. Oh, that's the thing that really drives me insane. Really does.
Sam, thank you for always keeping it real. I will tell you.
You're welcome, man.
I always smile when I see your stuff.
There you go. One of my points is already working.
It's true, man. Keep doing it. The world needs more fun, and you're bringing it.
I think that's true. It's a very especially today. It's a very serious place, and I'm not ignoring what's going on in other parts of the world, but my job is. I know what my job is. I want people, if they're having a shitty moment and they turn on Sam the Cooking Guy, they leave feeling better. We try and do that in our restaurants. I try and do that when people watch.
All right, people, go to samthebiotechguy.com. Nothing will be there. And after you go to that, go to samthecookingguy.com. Check out his books. Check out his YouTube page. Awesome stuff, Sam. Thanks for joining us, man. Be good.
Pleasure. Thanks, bro. You bet.